Now, I think there's only one way we're going to actually get to mass vaccine rollout. I think that we need to employ two parts of our community who people trust, and people trust when it comes to all sorts of other vaccines or health and lots of other issues. I think we should be using our local councils a lot more, and we have to use our pharmacists. These are the people that we trust, not just to dispense, but also just to have part of our medical relationships with. And I am fully in support of them playing a much bigger, much more profound role in vaccine rollout. Trent Twomey is the president of the Pharmacy Guild of Australia. You don't have to do the selling, mate, because I'm buying before you're even saying it, right? Because it reminds me a little bit of when the NBN started to roll out. And when you saw the truck and you saw the little blue line, oh, okay, that's coming to our part, right? Way back when the Foxtel cable, 20 years ago, when you see that, oh, wow, okay, that's coming. To see vaccines available here in the window of my local pharmacy would be such a good touch point to get people going. Can you do it logistically? I know there's all the issues about storage and the rest of it. Could you guys do it?
We could do it, and we could do it from tomorrow. So there are 6,000 pharmacies in Australia that deal with cold chain logistics every day. Other vaccines, as you said, Paul, we do insulin, we do thyroid medication. A lot of other medication is already has to be stored in vaccine fridges and really tight cold chain logistical storage. So we do this day in, day out. And of the 6,000 pharmacies in Australia, 4,000 of them have already been assessed by the Commonwealth Government way back in March. They have volunteered, they have the right infrastructure, the right training, they're ready to go. They have done the same training modules as the general practitioners and as the nurses that are doing it in mass vaccination hubs, the same compulsory modules for all of the vaccine variants, whether it's the Moderna one we don't have yet, the AstraZeneca one we've got, the Pfizer one we've already got. They did the same Australian College of Nursing accredited program. And, you know, let's take stock take of where we're at. We've been vaccinating since March. The roadmap was released back in January. As of close of business yesterday, there are 5.5 million injections, not 5.5 million vaccinations. To be vaccinated, you have to have 2 injections. So there has only been 650,000 Australians who have received their 2 doses. Now that's 3%. 3% of the Australian adult population over the age of 16. This is a race. It's not good enough. I was having a teleconference yesterday morning with the World Pharmacy Council, and that's the guilds around other developed worlds. And we have the lowest vaccination rates and the highest levels of hesitancy. So 1 in 4 adult Australians have not yet made their mind up about whether they even want to get the vaccine. And that's because of the botched communication job that we have done with this complicated phase 1A, phase 1B, phase 2, phase 2A, 2B, you know, where every other country just did a age-based approach. The single biggest risk factor for serious illness and death is age. So they just went, right, over 85-year-olds, you're up. Over 75s, you're next. Over 65s, you're next. They didn't have communication of states and territories falling over each other and giving different mixed messages. It's just, you know, we've got more vaccines sitting in fridges each week than we have being put into people's arms, and it's just about time we activated these 4,000 pharmacies. Yeah,
I mean, to me, I also think that there needs to be the pharmacies that need to be activated, as you say, because to me, we've got to leapfrog part of kind of the resistance that exists, this inevitable fight between state and federal government, which no one cares about, but we're all sort of dragged into all the time. Everyone's well-meaning here. That's the other thing too. Everyone wants this to get done. Everyone's well-meaning, but because of this sort of either demand for credit or fear of failure, we end up with this breakdown. So we've got to break that system. Sure, have your mass hubs, have your doctors, all the rest of it, but you are a way of racing this thing through the system. So I've got to ask here, who do you have to convince? It seems logical. Who do you have to convince?
Next Friday, we are having National Cabinet meeting. I heard you before when you're speaking with Bronwyn, and yes, there's all of these little side meetings that happen, and there's a side meeting of all of the Chief Health Officers and the Chief Medical Officer of Australia and all the Commonwealth Government and territories. They will be providing advice to National Cabinet. So next Friday, it is incumbent upon the Prime Minister, the Premiers of the states and Chief Ministers of states and territories to activate community pharmacy. If we don't, Paul, right, it's going to be another 9 months. Even with the extra acceleration that we've seen in the last week, which has been great and welcomed, we are still 9 months away before reaching that critical 85% of the adult population over the age of 16, which is herd immunity. And if we don't do it before 9 months, we're going to have to start giving the annual boosters, for goodness sake, before we've finished giving all of the Australians the opportunity to have their first dose. So let's get it done. Let's get it done this year. And we've got enough product, we've got enough practitioners, and let's address that hesitancy and that demand.
Well, that's it, Trent. We'll keep banging them over the head, and you've got a friend in me with 120 kilos to do it every night for you, mate. Good on you, Trent. Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate.
It's about helping everyone. That's the whole point, okay? Now, again, your choice whether you do it or not, but it's about the availability. That's my issue here. Okay.